Hi folks, this is Rose from In Rose's Garden, and today we are going to work on a really simple but very cute necklace using our SoftFlex's design kit, Cherry Blossom. So let's turn down and I'm going to show you what we're going to do. Okay, what I've got here is one 7-inch piece of 20 gauge wire and 5 3-inch pieces of 20 gauge wire. Now these 5 pieces here are for our dangles, which includes a little drop and then a white bead on half of them. Well, there's going to be 5 drops, so white bead will go on the outer and the middle, and then this pink porcelain is going to go in on the other 2. So those will drop down like so. On these little pieces of chain. Now this is my lobster claw for my closure, and my 2 jump rings. Took those on, so that's set aside. Now these pieces are all going to go on the bar. And technically, so are these. These are our chains. These little guys are going to dangle from these little chains. Like so. They're in 3 different lengths. So that they'll make a taper. And now we have a choice. We can just put this together first and then hook our dangles onto this as we work it. Or we can do it later. I think I'm going to do the dangles later. And I'll show you what I mean. The first thing we want to do is make our loop on the one end for hooking our chain on. And I'm going to hook chain on right away. And I'm going to get my stepped bell making pliers, and we're going to just use the small one here. And we'll go, I've already made the 90-degree turn, and we're going to go up and over and drop it, and then bring it around. And then because this is tipped to the side, see here? See if I can get it to focus for you. We want to tip it back this way some, so that it makes the lollipop shape. Then we're going to put our chain on. Now, I'm just going to hook it to this side and leave it hooked to the spool, because I'm not exactly sure how much I'm going to want. I'm thinking I want this necklace to be relatively short, like 20 inches or so, but I'm not exactly sure. So I'm going to wind this guy up here. Grab my second pair of pliers and bring this around 2 or 3 times. Trim this guy off and tuck it tight. Now what we want to do is we want to put our beads and our other chain on here. So because our first we're going to put the first pink one on here, but then as we go, we're going to want the first set of chains here, right here, because we're putting the chains between the 2. So now I have to decide to ascertain which ones of my chains are the longest and which is the shortest, because we want the shortest here. So I think this one may be my longest, and that one may be one of the shortest. But we'll find out in just a second here. Come here, you. So this is the shortest, one of the shortest, so we'll take it and we'll put it on right now. And it'll slide down into place. Then we're going to take up another pink, one of the melons, another pink, and then the next length here. So then another pink, another melon, a pink, and our long chain. Now a pink, a melon, pink, the next chain, pink, melon, pink, chain, and pink. So there's how it's going to look, sort of. These are going to then dangle, these guys are then going to dangle from here, like so. So now it's time to decide how long of chain I want this to have, because we need to cut it so that we can put the other side on. So I'm thinking I'm just going to cut, 18 inches of the chain, and because then this looks to be, it's going to end up about 6, so we're going to end up about, I'm thinking we're going to end up about 24-inch necklace. I really don't want it quite that long, but don't lose your beads off there. So 12 is here. And 18, it's going to be here. You know what? I'm not going to make it this long. I'm going to make it, because that's about 4 inches would be my guess. So if I want it 20, we want 16. So I'm going to go with 16 inches of chain. We'll cut that in half. And then, of course, we're going to have the lobster claw on there also to add some more length to it. So let's put our chain spool away. And then we're going to cut this piece of chain in half. But before we do that, we're going to just spin up the other side. And we'll just hook it on as we do. So we want it to face the same direction. So we want to go up and down. So when we bend it, we want it to go like so. Then we'll go with our small bell makers again. And we go up and around, bring her down, come over, leave that space. Now we're going to hook the chain on this side. And wind her up. Okay. We can trim her right here. And tuck her in. Now, as you can see, I have them not quite this, they're not going the same direction. So we want to take and do a little twist so that they are. This one's good, but well, that one is pretty good too. It's just, it's a little bit crooked on the top, so we'll just wiggle it around till I get it the way I want it. There we go. And now we can figure out where the middle of the chain is and cut it right now, or we can go back to, we can work on the drops. Either way works. We just have to get everything in place sooner or later. So I think we will start with our drops. So what we're going to do is we're going to make, let's get this relatively straight if we can. I usually just straighten with my fingers. You can use nylon jaw pliers or those or a wire straightener like this. I rarely use it. I like to just use my fingers. If it's got a bad kink, I will, but usually I just use my fingers. So what we're going to do is we're going to bend this over, about an inch up. Then, because we're putting on the little drop here, we are going to use the second size of our bell makers and go up and around and come down and around. And bring her over, straighten her up, leave a gap, put our little bead on. Come on. You should be big enough to go around this loop. Come on. Well, that disappoints me that it doesn't want to go around the loop. I thought for sure this loop would be plenty big enough for it. I don't want to force it and break it, but at the same time it needs to go on there or it's not going to work. Come on, baby. Now it's on the floor. Now I wanted a round one rather than a triangular one, though we may have to go to the triangle way of doing it because it doesn't want to go on, it looks like. Which is a pity because there should be plenty of room for it too, But it looks like we are going to need to go triangular, so we will put that aside for now, and we will just do the first or second. We'll have to get a new piece of wire because that one's a little mangled. So to do the triangular, you make your bend, slide your bead on, make another bend heading upwards. Oops, come here, you don't fall off. Bring our wires together. Not going to let that have a lot of movement, but oh well. Now, when they're here, take the longer one and bend it up. Then we'll grab these like we would a circular one. Push this one down. And then take it and wrap a couple of wraps. Come on, baby, get hold of it. 2 wraps on, so we'll cut this little bit off. Squish it down into place there. Straighten our wire here because see, it's a little crooked. Put our white bead on. Now we want this to the triangular part to fit, go to the front. So since we're going to go onto this bead here, I mean this chain, looks like it's well, we'll just wrap it up and see where we end up being. I think it needs to go this way though. Now we're just going to slide this onto that chain. Did I not leave it open enough? Looks like maybe not. Let's get that open just a hair's breadth more. So the chain will slide in and then we'll push it back together again and do our wraps. Like this wants to get in the way. Maybe we should have done the little wraps on the chains first, but as you can see I've simply taken hold of the chain on the bar to pull it into place. I think that's as much as it wants to do, so let's trim this a little bit and tuck it in. And there's our first little dangle in place. Don't you get lost, you guys. So this is a little crooked. As you can see, it's dipping to this out to the inside, so we want to straighten that. And there's dangle number 1 in place. So now we want to do that with all the rest of them. I'm going to need to get a new bead as well as a new piece of wire since I dropped the one, but let's go on to our second one. Our triangular. So this one bends up, this one bends down, and then we grab hold and wrap. And trim this excess off and tuck it in. Now this is our second one, so as soon as we straighten this up, This one gets the pink one. So we got the pink one on. And we're going to fold this forward. Like I said, this is not quite straight. There we go. I think that's a little better. And fold this forward. Use our small bell maker. Over and around, drop. Bring her over. Straighten her up. Don't forget to leave your gap. This is not very straight, so we'll straighten her some more. That's better. And then we'll put it on our chain. Now see, I left that one open enough that it popped right into place. Now we'll go and wrap this baby up. And as you can see, I've got hold of the chain again to keep that out of my way. We're going to trim her. Oops, didn't get a good, there we go. And tuck it in. And there is our second drop on. So, oop, no going over there. So you can see how it's going to look so far. Now we're going to start on the next one, which will be another white one. And then, of course, the last porcelain and the last white. So we'll get the wire going for this. There you are. Bend it up. Come on, baby. Oop. White bead. Bend. Up and over. Down and around, leaving the gap for the chain. I think I'm a bit crooked here, but we'll see. Put the chain on. Slide it in. There we go. Grab hold. And wrap. Tuck it in. Okay. Over you go, you. Okay. Now we're to the next pink one, and then I have got to get the other bead and other piece of wire since I racked out trying to go circular, which just didn't work. Okay, now I have to go and get the other bead and the other piece of wire so we can finish off our little dangly necklace. That's what she looks like so far. Isn't that cool? Okay, we've got another bead and another piece of wire, so we'll straighten the wire some. This wire's probably a little longer. I just cut it off without measuring it, so we'll slide our bead on. A little bit wonky. There we go. And now we have to get it split in half and put in our lobster claw and our jump ring. So now what we're doing is we're just trying to figure out where our middle is in our chain. And it should be about, see, I cut 16 inches of chain, didn't I? So it should be about 8. Let's see what we got here. Well, that's about 8 up to there. And that looks like about 8 too. So right up here in the middle somewhere. And it doesn't matter if it's perfect because right now, because when it comes right down to it, we've got our lobster claw in, which will take it to one side more than the other anyway, if you want to think about it. So we'll just cut that one in half. And now we want to put our lobster claw on one side and just our jump ring on the other side. So we're going to take this tiny jump ring right here. Bing. Well, if I can get hold of it. See, it's quite small. And we're going to use it to put the lobster claw on one side. Lobster claw's arguing with me a wee bit. There it goes, slid down into place. Now, I tested this lobster claw before I put it on, before I got it out, because sometimes they don't work, but this one works just dandy. And then we're going to put this jump ring on the other side. Now, if you wanted it longer, you could put an extension chain here. But of course, you've got to make sure that your extension chain is big enough for your lobster claw to go through. Because, see, it won't go through this chain. It's too big. See? See, won't go through it all. However, it goes through fine on this jump ring. So there is our little necklace. Isn't that pretty? I like the way it turned out, though I would have rather have been able to do the circular ones, but since it was saying absolutely not, well, that's the way it goes. So there is our necklace. Isn't that pretty? So there we go. There's our little dangle necklace using our SoftFlex Design Challenge Kit Cherry Blossom. The cute little dangles dangling down there. Maybe I'll put it on so we can see what it looks like. Of course, got to get the hair out. And so there's how she sits, just like so. So not a really long necklace, but not a really short one either. Not too close to the neck. I don't like things really close to my neck, so there it is. Isn't that pretty? Anyway, this has been Rose from Rose's Garden, and again, we have been using beads from the SoftFlex Design Kit Cherry Blossom. And make a really pretty little necklace. There we are again with our little dangle necklace. Isn't that pretty? We'll see you later. Bye-bye.